To take the red bean, I mean, it could mean a lot of things. It's a core theme of Azuki to take the red bean.
I want you to also visualize that kind of red bean landing in your hand and giving you, all the power of your sister to go in and find her and explore everything that's going to open up to you.
I took the red bean and went through the gate. Now, I could see the garden for myself and find out why you never came back.
Great. Perfect. Then we nailed it. Good job, Lauren.
My journey with the 2.5D format started with Overwatch when I was working at Blizzard. I think the 2.5D format is best to tell an origin story because you hear from the character's voice about their own story. At some point, we wanted Xiao and Ryzen to be sisters. To be honest, I was first thinking of just like the relationship between my daughters. Even though they're little kids, you can already see some of these personalities. I thought it would be really interesting if two of our main characters were related, by blood. The Azuki characters coming from the alley to the garden, we wanted to reflect that in our main character story. The idea of a pawn shop has a lot of interesting tie-ins with Web3, selling NFTs, I like all that kind of stuff and using that as an analogy. Azuki has a lot of awesome traits and we wanted to make sure a lot of them are represented on the table there. So you'll see a lot of frog stuff, the talismans, and then we sprinkled in Easter eggs in there for people who are familiar with Azuki traits. See how much you guys can find. One of the most challenging frames was the one where Ryzen disappears. This is like the darkest point for Xiao. She's losing her sister, kind of sets her off on the story.
This is a very big moment. Snatch it.
On the art side, it was difficult because you have this camera trucking out and 3 different poses for Ryzen, and you have like a state transition where she's there and then she's not. So for a pivotal shot like, Xiao pulling the sword, we definitely wanted to make sure that we had everything on a layer. If you look at Xiao's arm, we have like her arm, her forearm, her wrist, and the sword, and all these are on different layers so that we can make sure that we can move them. It depends on where you want the viewer to focus on. For that scene, definitely the sword. With Overwatch, it's these beautifully rendered paintings that come alive through motion story. With the Xiao piece, it was anime style, and you're used to anime kind of moving in a certain way. The crazy action scenes, beautiful animation, very fluid with crazy camera angles, and that's really hard to do with just one static image. One thing that really inspired us was seeing how the community has taken all of these PFPs and told their own story. There's definitely a lot of pressure to make sure we got the story right because these are our main characters. For us, we wanted to lead the way as well. We wanted to show, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. This is Xiao's story. This is Ryzen's story. Most of these origin stories, it's not a complete story. It's like the beginning. So you wanna go back a few steps where their story's gonna take them and then leave them with a little bit of a cliffhanger just to give the audience hunger to know what comes next.